You're tuned in to Tailgate Talk, where the grill is hot, the drinks are cold, and the sports stories never stop. Hosted by DB Cooper and Itty Bitty Ute, and produced by Hollywood. Grab a plate, pull up a chair, and let's get this tailgate started.
Welcome back to the Tailgate Talk podcast, where the drinks are hot and the food is piping cold. I'm DB Cooper, alongside me, Itty Bitty Ute, and on the ones and twos behind the grill, Hollywood. Just really quickly, I want to get something out of the way. You know, the most disappointing experience, a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, a lot of build-up, a lot of everything about it. I just want to get it out of the way before we address anything else. You did not do the worm, Itty Bitty. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, not one thing went right Saturday, and everything.
But of all the things that we had in control, that we could control,
yeah, it wasn't happening. Just the mic wasn't working when I was setting it up. The game was going horrible.
Foot wasn't working.
So
everything before the kick, and then when the kick happened, what happened?
Pushed it.
Plenty of leg.
And then you went to the ground.
Yeah, and I was going to do it, and I was like, you know what? Nothing's gone right. Just get back to my seat. Let's get out of this game. Go on to West Virginia. Kind of thing.
And they were in the game until that kick, and then everything just kind of went downhill after.
By far the most disappointed I've experienced it. In the stadium, Verizon Eccles Stadium. That was the most disappointed moment of my life because, you know, most things that happen in the stadium are far outside of my control or anyone that I know's control. But when you have something in your control that can go right, and you game plan and prep, and I mean, I just put my hand over my head, and it wasn't from the kick. You know, it had nothing to do with the kick. Didn't matter what happened to the kick. The worm. I built up the worm so heavy on our last episode. I kind of feel like you should give the listeners an apology. They thought they were going to see the worm.
I agree. I pulled an audible. I saw what I saw out there and didn't like it. Pulled an audible. Didn't do it. It was ugly. Everything about it was ugly. The kick. I will say I have probably the most disappointing story of the game. It had nothing to do with my kick or was getting our ass absolutely handed to us. Was on the field. It is much hotter than just sitting in the stands. I mean, that turf cooks. And so I was kind of getting nervous, started sweating. I was kind of loosening up. We had that crazy stand where we almost got Johnny Hall ejected, and so my heart was going nuts. I was right down there by it. Anyways, I kick it. Beal had a great hold. Snap was great. Just pushed it. Anyways, we get back to the seats, and so they took me to the north end zone. I had to walk up to where the tunnels were, walk around, and then go straight up to my seats. So it was a lot of walking after the kick, after being on the hot turf, and the game started getting away, and I was dying. I needed the drink. I downed my drink, had a tickle in the throat, so I decided that I'm going to miss a little bit of the game, take a walk, try to calm down, go get a soda, and I go to the refill line, and I sat there for about 8 minutes. And luckily there was a timeout or something. Long story short, I got my refill. I got back to the seat. I took a sip. Beal was like, hey, can I have a sip? Because he was feeling the same thing because he was down there with me. So he took a sip. And our boy Jaywalk was there. And the dude chugged my Mountain Dew. I gave him a sip too. He drank the whole thing. All I had was ice. And so I was so upset. And luckily I was able to chomp on ice, but my whole Mountain Dew was gone. It took 8 minutes away from the game, plus the walk. That's
got JAG. That might be worse than JAG.
Yeah, people forget that JAG actually does stand for it is average, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm throwing that in there. That's but you said short story. That was the short. I would love to hear the long version.
I'll give you the long version. So I was down on the field and I was kicking the field goal, and it was pretty hot down there.
That's brutal. Jaywalk on Jag watch list. Possibly
I love him.
worse. Whatever is worse than the Jag. Hey, while we're talking Jag tag real quick, I got asked by a listener, "What's tag? What does tag stand for again?" And
The
I told
alpha
them,
guy.
I told them that, and they went, "Oh, we thought it maybe stood for the actual guy."
That works.
And I thought the actual guy versus just a guy actually does
That's sick.
kind of play. So I want to run that past the boys, see what you guys
I
think.
love it. Yeah.
And you were you birthed the tag headline, so you should have the final say, itty bitty. But
I think, yeah, I mean, I always thought Jag was just another guy.
yeah, just a guy, just another guy.
Yeah. So kind of the same
I
thing.
think.
Alpha guy, the actual guy, you know?
Anyways, big shout out to listeners that came up to me and asked that. Thamin, J-Lu, and what was the third guy's name? Brady. Thank you.
I got a shout out too.
Always,
real quick.
Hit up the shouty.
As I was in my 8-minute line to get my Mountain Dew that was drinking by Jaywalk.
That's
Love you, Jaywalk.
Got to be the word. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mike was standing with me, and he said he's been listening to the podcast, joined us live Friday night. So he's an absolute dog. So thanks for listening.
Mike with an M.
Mike with an, yeah, I think it's an M.
Shout out, Mike. Seriously though, like it's pretty cool. I had another one during the game, and I don't want to get too much into the game, but I had another one. Adam come up to me and say he's been enjoying the podcast. Pretty freaking cool to be like just out and about and people coming up and unsolicited saying that they like the podcast. So like genuinely always come up, introduce yourself. Love to hear it. It's awesome. And if you have suggestions, like feel free to give us the bad news too. But either way, it's fun. I did write down. I didn't want to get into the game just yet. I did write down any pregame stuff that we wanted to talk about. No, Hollywood wasn't up there for pregame festivities. If we want to fill him in on kind of what the scene was, I don't think we need to go as in depth as we did like the Wyoming trip, just because there were most people that are listening to this were probably up there at some point to see it. So, but any thoughts or questions?
Yeah, I want to jump in and just kind of get this off my chest. And I know it's probably elevated for you guys being there, but I woke up, I watched the Barstool interview when Big Cat was there. It was tough because I felt like the fans showed up, the campus, everything around the Utah game prior to kickoff. It felt like everything showed up and just everybody got to see how great this place is. The fans, Steve Smith talking about, his experience. It's been a long time since I felt like this is it. Like everything's fallen in line. Everybody's going to get to see how great we are. This community, this football program, everything. And even Portnoy's saying, I know this is the Tailgate podcast, but saying this one of the best tailgating crews that he's ever seen. The bookstore. I mean, everything about it was like, yeah, now people are starting to understand why we love this program and this football team so much. And then just disappointment. That was such a tough, as a fan, to go through that hype. I mean, I'm at the house watching these things getting jacked up and hyped. Like this is the day. Like this is going to be one of the best games. And then we get the ball 3 and out, and it just was downhill. I know we're not getting into the game, but man, that was rough. It's been a struggle all weekend for me. Because normally I don't take things this hard, but I just feel
it seemed like the stars were aligning.
Yeah, it really did.
I guess like the only way to console that in my mind is like it's better than if all those positives that you just pointed out in the pregame stuff, if it would have been the opposite and it would have been a train wreck pregame and we still would have had the same result on the field, then it would have been even worse. So, I mean, at least the pregame reviews and everything were great. And honestly, like, I was pinching myself a lot. Just, it's cool to see when College Game Day comes here, like, there's no personality that like really goes out of their way to express where they're at on, like, outside of the show, especially. But it was cool to see like Fox and the Barstool guys, like, they were here a couple days in advance and like going out of their way to talk about Utah in a positive light in all things around it. I mean, obviously, especially Dave Portnoy, but I'm with you. It was, stars were aligning. But I mean, at least we got positive reviews. Did you have anything you want to add on that, Itty Bitty?
Yeah, I mean, I had a time of my life Friday, Saturday. Still was just such a good time. And I'd rather lose in Rice Eccles than not be in Rice Eccles. So.
That's true. The worst day in Rice Eccles is better than any day not in Rice Eccles.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It's your bowl.
It's my bowl.
It's your bowl. Kind of just a recap because people joined us live and of course people were there. But Friday night picked up DB. We got our food, we got our ice, we were ready to go. We started to turn on I-15.
This should have been a sign, honestly.
Yeah, just shut down. We were on the on-ramp on 2600 South, North Salt Lake for probably 45 minutes. It took us forever. But anyways, we went live, and so thanks for everyone for joining in because we had a good time. That was a good time. Then we finally got up there. It took us out like 2:15. We kind of had to go with back roads. Finally got to our spot. We were chilling with 5 or 6 people at our tailgate for a while, and then ended up being me, Flashback, B-Love, and DB slept over, and I don't know. We tried to go to bed at like, what, 1:30?
Yeah, I think it was close to 1, maybe.
1-ish.
By 3:30, I think the line was supposed to start at 4, but at 3:30, the Big Noon production, dude, they turned on their stereo system to, if it maxed out at 10, it was at a 22. It was so loud, it startled me. That's another thing. When College Game Day comes, they're usually at President's Circle, which is quite a walk from our tailgate spot, and you really like can't hear much until the full thing's going. But with this different spot and location for Big Noon kickoff, it was like kitty corner from our spot. And dude, those speakers were so loud. I had no shot of falling asleep once those things turned on at 3:30. I think I dozed off for 15 minutes between 1 and 3:30. And then, I mean, there were just kids all night. I don't think anyone in the Muss went to bed on Friday night. I think they were up partying all entire night, walking over to Big Noon, coming from parties and going there. It was like there was a energy and a feeling on campus and in the area. It was awesome. Big Noon was sweet. I thought we represented. I was a little bit nervous just because it's not. I mean, we've had a few of these now. Obviously, this was the first with Big Noon, but like this isn't our first merry-go-round, so I didn't know if people would be excited to go to another one. But we did, and it was packed to the gills once Big Noon came on. It was rowdy, it was ruckus, it was just a ton of fun. If you didn't make it, if we ever get that opportunity again, you should make it a point to go to the Big Noon kickoff. I had more fun at that than any College Game Day. I've done College Game Day, the experience different every single time. This Big Noon experience was better than any College Game Day experience.
1,000%.
Yeah, I feel like they do such a good job of going, to your point, outside of the community. College Game Day shows up, they're there for a certain amount of time. They have their segments that they do while they're there, and then they're gone. Love Portnoy and all the stuff that they do in the community and what they post to X and social media platforms for the weekend. I think this Big Noon kickoff did more for the community and the awareness of how great this community and program is than College Game Day coming every week for a season.
Yeah.
1,000%.
College Game Day kind of has like that mystique to it because it's been around for so long. But this is truly like you could tell they're trying to be new era and wavy with it. And they have the smoke machines going off and lights flashing everywhere. It's just like almost more like a dance party type vibe of excitement. And College Game Day is more like you're paying respect to legends, and you want to get a little bit rowdy, but it doesn't get too rowdy. I don't know, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I agree. Though it painted a great picture for our community.
But Big Noon's got Tom Rinaldi, and I think that gives that, when he does his segments, there's always that respect because he always does those serious, heartfelt type of stories. I love that Big Noon's got Rinaldi on their segments.
And I had a couple things. Well, me and DB, we've been to game day elsewhere too. We went to Penn State a couple years ago, and game day was there. And it feels like Big Noon's way more interactive with the crowd too. They're throwing stuff out. Yeah, they did like the Home Depot stuff, but like they were so interactive with everyone in the back all the way to like the front row. So it didn't matter where you were standing. And I feel like if you're game day, if you're in the back, the only thing you can do is wave a flag. But shout out to DB, he was standing there for hours waving that flag. So
everyone in the crew pitched in a little bit to help with the flag wave. I would, yeah. And once I got there, I realized I didn't need. I was gonna show up with the flag, just felt out of necessity. Didn't know how many flag. Again, I was worried about the attendance for whatever reason, but there were plenty of flags. I've rewatched some clips, and from the TV production side, it looked awesome. Obviously, we can't see what's going on. I mean, they have screens there, but there's so many people and tall people standing in front of you. We had you can barely hear what they're saying, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Should we dive into the game?
Yeah.
Kicks off unless you wanted to. If you have something.
Just don't miss this time.
Oh, damn. I want to fit in one last thing for Big Noon and just College Game Day, all that just really quickly. That just came to my mind. Like I thought about it a lot during the game too. As a fan base, we've definitely gotten spoiled in the decade plus, and these things feel normal. There's a lot of schools that still have never even had a game day experience, let alone multiple, and they might never ever have the Big Noon kickoff experience. Who knows if we ever will again. We're spoiled enough to think that like this is kind of a regular thing. It may or may not be. If we get the opportunity again, I kind of said it earlier, go out of your way to like participate in the event because it's pretty special, and we never know if things change and we don't continue to get these opportunities. But I don't know. Just want to fit that in.
So I got a question for you. If Utah turns it around and starts to pick things back up, watching what was going on TV, you can tell me what your thoughts were being there. Would not surprise me if they come back for the Holy War down in Provo. I haven't looked at what other games are going on that week.
I haven't either.
But if BYU stays undefeated and they play a one-loss Utah team, might be another visit.
I've talked to my BYU friends about it. Just would be interesting to see if they ever have the opportunity to have a Dave Portnoy review things down there and see what their DI bookstore looks like. And my point with my BYU friends is I don't know if BYU as a program holds that cachet. I don't think we do alone. I think we had to have a little bit of like playing Texas Tech was enough to get us over that hump. I don't know if BYU honestly holds that cachet to bring Big Noon and get that Big Noon time slot. Maybe they have. I don't know. Could happen. I haven't seen the schedule. That's why it's not happening. Like we do the Holy War not on rivalry week to have the weekend to ourselves. That's the strategy behind it. So there shouldn't be much else on, but yeah, I'd go down.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. Kick us off, itty bitty.
Yeah, I think the best parts are about the podcast of coming in after a good week. And I think one of the hardest things about doing this is doing it right after a loss, right? It's just we're fans for a reason, and we gotta ride the highs and the lows, and here we are. So Well, obviously we got our teeth kicked in. There's not a lot of positives to go off of. I was trying to be super positive, but it's like we'll just talk about it all. But I do think we have a couple dogs on defense that I'm super excited about. Jackson Benny is him. He is the tag. If there's a tag definition, it's him. Johnu Hall, Daly. I mean, we got some dogs that are flying around out there. So our defense kept us in the game. After the game, I graded us a B-. Our defense. We missed 24 tackles and gave up 500 yards. So it wasn't as elite as I thought leaving the stadium. But they kept us in the game. It was really rough. I gave them an F. There was no positives to go from. We had 100 yards rushing compared to our 315 a week before. And so that's probably... I know it makes a big emphasis on it. Like, if we hit 150 rushing yards or 200 rushing yards, our record is through the roof. And their front seven held us really good to 100 rushing yards. And even with 100 rushing yards, though, we turned the ball over a lot. And you're not going to win games turning the ball over. So, yeah, it sucked. But we got our teeth kicked in. And I'm really excited to see how we bounce back, fan-wise as well as team-wise. Because we lay another egg, then we're in big trouble. But if we go out and bounce back, then no harm. No harm done.
I agree. Bounce back in Morgantown, get the bye week, and then bring in a ASU team that a lot of fans, I think, will be excited to see. So it should be, I imagine, a good turnout for that. I think those are very fair grades. I'm interested, like, total yards and all that. There was a breaking point in the game where it was, I mean, fans had already cleared out the stadium and it was clearly over. I was kind of lost in thought by that point. I wait until the clock hit 0, but I don't know when that breaking point was. I would be interested to, like, first 3 quarters, even 3.5 quarters, I would be interested to see how much of their yards came in the second half of the fourth quarter, if that makes sense, because I do feel, but the missed tackles, 24 missed tackles is a ton. B- is probably fair. If somebody wanted to argue like a B, I would probably let them have it. A B+, I'd be like, For a majority of the game, I think it was a B+, probably. But I think that's fair. Offense, I don't know where the blame is. Obviously, people go right to the quarterback. I think he had some of it. If they don't go to the quarterback, they generally go to the offense coordinator next, which has somehow just turned into our head coach. No one really likes to blame the offense coordinator anymore. It just goes to the head coach. Makes sense. I personally don't think that our offensive line is getting enough of the blame. And one of my first thoughts is, like, I still think we have a great offensive line. I think this is the best front seven we'll see probably all season. Tough test, a lot going on. But, like, there's penalties in football that are skill penalties. If an offensive line holds their guy, it's generally he's lacking skill. Other guy's quicker, right? And then there's mental penalties. And I just can't get it out of my mind if our number one prospect, NFL prospect, doesn't go further than 3 yards down the field on a Devin Dampier dime for a touchdown, which is not a talent. It's one thing to have a talent penalty. If you just get beat, it's one thing. But a pure mental penalty, like running down the field. And he was clearly upset with himself after the play. Like, there was no mix-up or anything. It was completely on Fano, our boy, I love. But how different is the game if we don't have that one mental? That hurt. The 4th and 1 not being reviewed. Like, I don't know, sorry. Go ahead, Holly. What do you have on?
No, I just was going to say, I think the for me anyway started before that. We get the ball. I wasn't a big fan of the first 3 play calls when we get the ball. I mean, we get that the place is jumping, and we go straight 3 and out, and it's gone. And so that for me, I watched that and I was like, this is going to be tough. And then I don't know what your guys' thoughts were, but even the announcers, when Texas Tech had that 75, 76 yard pass, they were like, this is a pick play. Like the tight end came off and blocked our DB into the referee and freed him up to go down. How do you not call that? And so and I'm sure people are going to be on like, oh,
it's Utah fans being Utah fans.
Yeah, and I get that, but I think the start to that game was just terrible, and it's downhill from there. Their offense has got to start carrying their weight for us to have any kind of a decent season this year.
Well, that's where I get confused, though, when I talk to fans. Our offense has to start carrying their weight. I mean, there was one I guess they didn't carry their weight for the first half of Wyoming. But other than that, when have they not carried their weight this season?
I just mean going forward, because we talked about this on our last episode when UCLA turned out to be not great. And it's like, yeah, we did really good and had a high scoring game against UCLA.
Where I get confused, though, is the way that people say it. Our offense has to start carrying their weight until that makes it sound like it's becoming an issue. I don't think it. In my opinion, I haven't we didn't play great opponents before, but offensively, I mean, you play who's on the field, and offensively, we've looked totally fine up until this game. So I disagree with the start. Yeah,
start's probably the wrong.
They've been carrying their weight, in my opinion.
If they continue to do what they did on Saturday, because Saturday they did not carry their weight, and it was the defense. We turned the ball over. The only reason that it wasn't a blowout in the first half was because right after we turn the ball over, our defense goes out and gets the ball back for us.
So that's fair. Yeah, if we play like we played on Saturday, the rest of the season we're in trouble. Just like we played in the first half of Wyoming, we're in trouble. So if we play bad, we're definitely in trouble the rest of the year. That's what it comes down to.
And I know it's our job as fans to be emotional and ride the wave, whatever it is. I'm saying we suck again. It's painful to hear. And I said this on the space right after. It's like there's a big difference saying we suck and we sucked. We sucked on Saturday. I don't know if we suck. We very well could be a crappy football team, but I don't think we are. I still think we're a 9-3 football team. And it's okay to suck occasionally. Like we talked about in the last podcast. We sucked at New Mexico and won 13-10 and still went undefeated that year.
Dude, the perfect example of what you're saying is literally our last college game day visit, Oregon. Okay, if you compare that Oregon loss to this loss, Oregon was not even playing the same sport as Utah was that day. That's how wide the margin was of skill. If you compare that to this last Saturday against Texas Tech, we sucked. The margin isn't that far off. I saw one tweet. Here comes 5-7. And you know what? We might go 5-7, like you're saying. We might suck. Yeah. Who knows? But to bring it off of just that one performance is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. I just shake my head.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's okay to be upset and frustrated. I'm upset. I'm frustrated. But I don't think we're going to just go 5-7. Something that does scare me is our 2-8 conference record in the Big 12. I do think that's going to get fixed over the next 3 years, and we'll have a really good record. But you just got to be like a coach's mentality. Like the only thing we could do is go 1-0, and that gets us in the bye week at 4-1,
which is what pretty much every fan predicted. 4-1 at the bye week, right. Just about every fan.
And then after the bye week, or I guess during the bye week, we don't leave the state of Utah for a month. Okay, so we got to do some damage this next month. And I think we could do that. I think we could go into the BYU game with a really good record, 1 loss, maybe 2, and we could still make it to Arlington. So
Agreeing with everything you said, and Arlington, I would love a rematch against Texas Tech in Arlington. I would love that. That's a long way. We had so long to get there, and who knows? I mean, I'm all over the place on what I feel like with this team, but to go either like so depressed and dark that we're never going to win a game ever again, or that we're guaranteed to go to Arlington, like either extreme, it's a crazy mindset to be in my mind. Just go somewhere down the middle with this. Never as good as you're bad as you think, and you're never as bad as it seems. A couple other very quick thoughts for me. One, it felt like I pointed it out to the person sitting next to me at the game. We had to have broken the record for most third downs with 7 yards to go as an offense I've ever seen. Yeah. Every single third down was 3rd and 7. I swear. There were a handful that weren't, but nearly every single third down was 3rd and 7, and it drove me insane, especially because that's just, I mean, where we've made our bread and butter this year has been 3rd and 4th and or shorter. But we went 3rd. It was completely 3rd and 7, which is long, and we went 4 for 14 on 3rd down, which, I mean, those two things go together. But we were moving the ball on 1st down, it seemed like, all day. I don't know what was happening on 2nd down. But yeah, 3rd and 7 drove me insane.
And again, I'm not saying anything about the coordinator or anything. I just think we sucked. But it did feel like the early days of A-Rod, where we were throwing the across the field 5-yard outs. And it was a painful. And so I do hear fans when they're saying like that was horrific. It was horrifically called game on our coaches. I couldn't disagree more with that. And if you're not into NIL, I think you should start getting into NIL, because Texas Tech bought a freaking good team and they kicked our ass. And so it is what it is. You know, that's just the new world of football. And I hate it. I was in NIL, but I hate it. And they bought a damn good team.
My only thing with that is one guy bought their whole entire team. It's a guy richer than Ryan Smith. He bought their whole team. I don't know if a collection of $10 a month donations can get to that level, but I hope we find a oil or a tech billionaire soon.
Yeah, Holly, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, you got to close some deals. Holly.
How's your career
Still
going,
working
bro?
on it.
Yeah, I mean, a legal man downfield, a couple fumbles at midfield, 4th and 1 that doesn't get reviewed, that a lot of people thought it was a 1st down. The Tobias Merriweather thing, with Devin Dampier missing him or wrong route, that whole thing. I mean, I think I just counted 6 things that isn't on the offense coordinator. Like, and, you know, I don't know. Any of those things go different. We don't fumble at midfield twice. We pick up the first on 4th and 1. I don't know if people are blaming the OC in that situation. I don't know.
Even when we were punting the ball, we were giving them the ball in the 50. Here's a stat I just came across, and which shocks me, because it didn't feel like it in the game. We had 2 penalties for 10 yards, and they cost us big. So that's not a reflection.
2 penalties for 10 yards?
That's all we had. 2 for 10. Texas Tech had 14 penalties for 122 yards. That's insane.
Yeah, that alone, the penalty discrepancy, if you would have told us that going in, I would have said we win by 20 plus at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you would have heard the score and that fact before and didn't know who it was, you'd think that's our game to win.
Wow. I mean, rushing, we were around the same. Time of possession around the same. They doubled our passing yards. We were 0 for 2 on 4th down. They were 0 for 0. They didn't go for anything. I mean, look at the stats. We were there, guys. I mean, it was 13-10 with 8 minutes left in the game, right? So,
and I think that's when our defense wore down.
Yeah,
and that's the frustrating. Yeah, that's where it's frustrating. That, I mean, when we scored the touchdown to cut it to 3. That place was alive. There were so many
Rocking.
flags in the stands. It was rocking. It was packed to the gills. It was amped up. It was such high energy. I can't even remember what happened on the drive, but man, they cut it out of us so quick.
Most of those penalties were false starts. On the broadcast, they were talking about how the fans, especially the Muss, they were like, that's the most involved a stadium we've seen have an effect on, and why they didn't go away from the clap earlier.
Yeah.
Blew my mind, because they're most of the time it was because they couldn't hear what was going on because of the crowd, and they're still doing the clap.
I think if you've never played in Rice Eccles before, which Texas Tech hadn't, like they see the capacity and they're like, we've played in 50,000 seat stadiums and it's not, we can clap just fine. I don't think that they realize like how it's built is like such a bigger indicator than capacity, seat capacity. And I wonder if they come in with a game plan thinking we'll be able to clap. We clap at other stadiums similar size just fine in the Big 12. Don't have an issue. And then you get in. And, I think it might have been the loudest from start to finish consistently that I've been a part of in Rice Eccles. It was rocking.
Yeah, and I mean, my tag of the week is the fans. They were electric, dude. I mean, not to echo what you said, but we were in our seats 20 minutes before the game too, which is rare at Utah. So it was sick, and I hope just because we lost, fans don't do that for the next one. So our next home game's huge. Every game's huge, but yeah, fans were incredible. Muss was incredible.
And we'll talk more about West Virginia, but I think we're all in kind of agreement. It's not the end of the world, but West Virginia is going to tell us a lot. If we come out and lose another one and let this Texas Tech game cost us another game the following week, then it's time to panic, in my opinion.
Yep.
But if we come out and just take care of business, we're back in the driver's seat and just fine. Nothing.
I did hear from our girl that sent us pictures from the West Virginia tailgate lot. She goes, you might as well just mark it as a bye week. She's like, this team's terrible. So there is hope that we should be able to go in there and take care of business. But
hopefully our players aren't looking at it like that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Hopefully
it's got a lot of stuff to address.
I'd be curious. I would love to get a former player like Josh Nurse back on and be like, hey, after a loss, especially like that one, like what was Monday like?
Yeah, we should ask him. He was voicing his opinion pretty heavily on X. I don't know if you saw any of those.
Yeah.
So
maybe we have him back on as we prep and look ahead to West Virginia.
Yeah.
I would be down with it. Or maybe even because do we have a West Virginia podcast guy? Do we have contact with him?
I think so.
Yeah.
So maybe let's try to get Josh for the bye week. A bye week interview and an update on the season.
I like
and
that.
Carry us through. Anything else you guys want to put a bow on the game with, thoughts wise?
Yeah, move on. That's what I'm looking forward to, is getting it the hell in our rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that some of the overreaction from our fan base is partially due to maybe PTSD from last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so too.
And then I was thinking about this today too. Some of our best years, we had an early loss. 2019, we went 11-1. Game 4 at USC, we lost. At
Game
2021,
4. Good call.
It was Game 4. 2021 when we went.
That was also a game that we knocked out the starting quarterback. Who was USC's backup quarterback that came in? Lucky Fotu knocked out the starter, and then the backup quarterback came in and cut us up, dude. And that, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's a crazy coincidence. The week 4, granted it was on the road, but same week, and we knock out the starting quarterback, and the backup comes in and tears us apart. I swear we have got to have the world's worst record against backup quarterbacks when the change is made in game. I swear, we never win.
Never. Yeah.
When my neighbor next to me pointed out that their starter was out, I said, "That's not good.
That's not good
for us.
No,
that's not good. It never is."
Right. And then 2021, he obviously went 1-2 to 2 Group of 5 schools, BYU and San Diego State.
Early in the season.
Early in the season, went on, won the pack. And then same with 2022. We lost to Florida, first game of the year. And I think it was like the second conference game we lost to UCLA on the road. Wasn't looking good, and we still went on. And so hope's not a loss. We got to figure our shit out now, but we've done it before. The worst stat I think I saw was before the game we had like a 39% chance to win the Big 12, and after that loss it's like 2.9. Every time we win though, it'll just climb. So
it'll climb, and honestly, like, I mean, had we won, I don't know, we weren't going to go wire to wire in the season of having the best chance to win our conference. I'd be interested to see when that ever happens, that a team on those percentages to win the conference championship. Does the team by week that has the best chance of week 3 ever go on to win the conference championship? So maybe it's, again, get it out early.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, to be optimistic about is, say that offense rights the ship. One of my favorite statistic is it is incredibly difficult to beat the same team twice in a season. Mm-hmm. So say we do what we're supposed to and we meet Texas Tech again in the championship. That's statistics say that we're going to play better than they are when we rematch them.
I agree. Sorry, anything else on the game that came? Just a very quick JG1 update. UNLV covered for me, so I'm very happy. They're still undefeated. Barn burner against Miami of Ohio, but they pulled it out by 3 and covered. JG1, 1 rush, 3 yards. Right up his alley, baby. I resurfaced an old tweet of mine that said JG1's truck gas mileage gets 3.7 yards per gallon.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And I'm sure there's still Utah fans, right? If we just gave him a shot, and then he goes to a Mountain West school. Yeah, and he's still not even getting a shot at a Mountain West school. So it's like, come on.
I have another tweet of mine that said I don't think he'd get playing time consistently at Weber State. Yeah, I mean that's still up for debate. I mean he can't even crack UNLV. But that's talking JG1. Bets. I had a pretty great betting weekend on money that I placed down. 4-0 yesterday. 4-1 because I sprinkled a little bit on Wyoming. Me and you had a side bet, Hollywood. How'd that
go? We are now even on the year for bets. I lost.
Are we even on money?
So you're 2-1 against me. I'm down 1 unit.
I also beat Holly with the Bears today over the Cowboys. It was $1,000.
Speaking of Dallas Cowboys.
$1,000 bet. He only paid me $50. And then Hollywood picked Illinois to win outright, and they lost by 53 points.
Yeah. No ranked team should lose by that much. Me and Portnoy. Portnoy said the same thing after we had aired the episode. So we both took it on.
That was our side bet, Illinois, Indiana, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny because my last Venmo transaction to you was that you paying me or me paying you? No, you paying me for Indiana on September 20th. Hey, you paid me. Thanks, Hollywood.
Saturday. I paid you guys in the third quarter, like right after halftime. And I did the same thing with Itty Bitty at halftime for the Cowboys game.
He did.
I will say one thing that I did want to bring up. Our boy Bryson Barnes had a QBR of 90.7 on Saturday. Again, he's playing McNeese, but he went 19 of 27, 293 yards of passing, 3 tutties, and 1 interception.
Can't wait they didn't play him last year.
Your Pig Farmer,
your
48
win total
to 7.
Is a game off, and we're not even out of the month of September.
2 games off. They're up. Their record is 3-1.
That's right.
Okay.
And they've got to win 5, so 4.5. But they've got Vandy this week, which will be a tough test because they're at Vanderbilt, at Hawaii, Home against San Jose State. I think that's
Should
a
be a
win.
win.
At New Mexico. I think that's going to be a good game. Home against Nevada. That's a win. At UNLV. That's tough. And then at Fresno State, that'll be tough. And then at home against Boise State. So I'm not counting my chickens yet, but
that's true.
Because I went heavy on that too. I went 7 units on that bet to start the season. So
that'll be nice to get that hit. I mean, you said at least 2 wins that seemed for sure in there, which is all you need. You just need 2. Okay.
Dude, right. I like it.
I love it. You're sitting great.
Quick side note. What I absolutely hate about this new age of football is the Apple Cup was this weekend, and it did not mean a single thing. And I look forward to the Apple Cup every single year. And it doesn't matter anymore. And it sucks.
Same with the Civil War. No.
Yeah.
I agree. I didn't mind it as much this year with that change, just because I had Washington minus 20.5 and they covered by a mile. But I agree. It sucks that those games are in week 4. Shouldn't be. It should be like a threat of snow. If not snowing, cold, breath in the air. Has to be that way for those two rivalry games. Good call out. Shit. They've killed the sport we love.
They've killed it. And if you're listening, you're going to Morgantown, let us know. Hit us up in the comments. I will be there.
Itty Bitty's going. Is this the longest streak you've ever gone of not missing a Utah game?
I think so, dude. With BYU and the next month, we're not going anywhere. Like, I think I'm gonna get like 10 straight
Dude, you better be the best husband during bye week.
Oh yeah. Besides the golf tournament on October 4th. Besides that golf tournament.
We might have to crowdsource and see if we can't get you to every game this season.
If I'm just missing Kansas and Baylor.
Start a GoFundMe. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
I genuinely was looking forward to this, though, fellas. Like, it feels good to say our thoughts out loud. I feel like when you're down in the dumps, you feel better when you just talk it out with the boys. I hope our listeners feel the same way. If you want to shout out into the comments, shout out into the comments if it helps you feel any better. But I hope us just talking it out helps you feel better, because this is it's tough when you just have all that buildup, all that excitement, and get let down. It's like finding out Santa isn't real. It's tough to enjoy the next Christmas, but you will. You will enjoy the next game day.
Hey, just real quick. The wife made cream cheese brownies tonight, and they are godly.
Jeez.
Godly. So, shout out Mrs. DB.
Mrs. DB made that for you? Hey, where are you? Mrs. DB? The f*** you doing up there?
Hey, babe, you look great. Love you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mrs. DB was on my mind. Sorry.
Jeez. Thanks again for listening. Tailgate Talk You. Keep the energy high throughout the week. Like the video, comment on the video, share with a friend, share on social media, share with your neighbor, share with your grandma, share with your grandpa, share with your aunts and uncles, share with your coworkers, bosses, children, anybody you want to share this podcast with. Greatly appreciated. We love you, and go Utes.
Love you, boys.
That's it for this episode of Tailgate Talk, hosted by DB Cooper and Itty Bitty Ute. Produced by Hollywood. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your tailgate crew. Join us next time for more sports talk, food, and fun. Until next time, keep the grill hot and the stories hotter.